There should be a text on display. Where's my display text? All right, so this next debate is quite bigger. It's a bigger resolution. Do you agree? How's it bigger?
Yeah. It's more like universal.
More universal.
Yeah.
What do you mean by that?
It's important. Important, like people all over the world is going to read this. But not people all over the world are going to think, who's the antagonist?
So now, people all over the world aren't going to become deeply involved in the question of who is the real antagonist or what is the real antagonist of the story. But more people around the world might debate this question. Is this book important? Is it worth reading? Is it an important work of literature? So if we look at the objective and how it's different from the objective that aligned with the first debate, you notice that here we are evaluating. So a lot of time, I think students sometimes would think, well, the teacher told us we have to read this text, so I have to like it. I have to think it's important. Well, actually, no. Okay, and Cece, isn't it true that you defined important?
Yeah.
Like the group looked it up in the dictionary, right?
Right.
What was the definition you agreed upon?
Well, it says marked by or indicated or significant word or consequence. Valuable in
Valuable in content. So that's something to remember. In a debate, you do have a resolution which is itself presented in language, and that language has to be looked at closely. So it was important, was it, what's your name?
Benjamin.
All right, you're representing the pro side. You're going to argue in favor of the idea that Hatchet is an important work of literature, correct?
Yep.
And you also defined important. And is Cece's definition at all different from yours?
Not a lot.
Good. So the two sides agree on what it means, what important means. Pro! Speakers 1 and 2, welcome to the front.
The story Hatchet is an important literature because of its unique originality and how it is realistic. You may think that most survival stories are unrealistic because seriously, who could survive in the forest by themselves? But this particular story shows you how to get food, how he made a house, and how he got weapons, and how he survived in a tornado, and a lot more. No story is really original, but every author has his or her own style of writing. Even though I haven't read every survival story, I read enough to know that each author has his or her character fall into a dangerous situation often caused by conflict.
There are so many survival stories circulating nowadays that Hatchet has become a cliche. Hatchet has no value. The book is one of many. A grain in a bowl of rice, a speck of sand in a desert. In short, it is worthless.
The plot is also formed by a pattern of loss, suffering, and triumph, causing it to be predictable and favorless over time.
You say that no story is original. Of course. What do you mean by original? Of course, probably they're going to
Original is to us some kind of uniqueness.
But it has the same pattern all the time. Lost. He feels lost. He wants to suicide. Tornado. Suicide. And then suddenly, triumphant. Yes, really. He rebuilds his home.
Gary Paulsen has a way of repeating words to make it seem more mysterious and
No, I do not mean the words. I mean the plot. It's repetitive. It's just a cycle. Loss. Deep loss. The plane crash. Then, he gets hurt. He tears his nail apart when he's trying to get out. Pain. Deep pain. He's struggles to get out of the plane. Then suddenly he triumphs. He gets out of the water. He has food. He has shelter. He has everything he needs.
He it's not true that he suddenly gets all those stuff. It's what happens after he changes. Reborn as the new Brian. It's not that every book has that plot. This book has its own uniqueness.
Yes, I understand what you mean. Of course, he does. He doesn't get it suddenly, of course. You can't just let him have it suddenly, like you get on shore and that'll be.
But you mentioned that suddenly. Oh, suddenly.
I didn't say suddenly.
You're like, oh. Is there charms or something like that? Doing that seems like, oh my god, so suddenly.
You must have misunderstood me.
Just now you mentioned, Hatchet is like just a pack of sand, isn't it?
No, I didn't say it was a
Agree of
pack of sand.
Hatchet teaches lots of lessons. It teaches persistence and gratefulness. When Brian changed, he became more persistent. Even through trials, he finds ways to get past it and move on. Gary Paulsen wants to tell the readers, be grateful for what you have. Other people with less than you have are happy.
Hatchet also teaches people to stay positive. In page 68 to 70 of the text, it talks all about staying positive, and it makes him lose his courage and hope when he's not positive. He should feel lucky that he's still alive. Something good can happen any second to him.
In this story, it tells you that self-pity does not help you in anything. To prove it, I need you guys to turn the book to page 36.
Turn it.
No, thank you.
This book is predictable. I've read a lot of survival books, and every single one of them has the same pattern. The main character suffers a lot, feels the pain, and once almost dead, he won. He became a superhero and he destroyed every single thing that stands in his way.
The author contradicts himself. On page 67, it says, what did they do in the movies when they got standard like this? Oh yes, the hero usually found some kind of plant that he knew was good to eat and that took care of it. Even though Gary Paulsen attempts to make Brian a more realistic character, he contradicts himself by pointing out that Brian is in a fictional story. Therefore, just like in the movies, he was going to be able to find something to eat and to drink. He will live to the end of the novel.
You said that the whole book was like really predictable. Well, like, did you predict that the bear and the wolf would just walk away? And did you predict that the moose would be the animals that hurt Brian?
I did not predict any of these things, but that proves that he's super lucky. I predicted that these animals might harm him and probably break his bone or something, but he's super lucky. These animals just walked away.
But the moose hurt him. How is he lucky then? And besides, it's not impossible to be lucky. It's still realistic to be lucky.
But he didn't die. That's a good thing. Like, animals can kill him. They could have killed him. And he's too lucky every time that he survives.
You people keep saying about lucky.
Yeah, like,
That's right, it's not real.
Lucky.
it's realistic to be lucky. You can always be lucky. So.
People can have luck. The resolved thing is not whether Brian is lucky or not. It's if it's important to look at literature.
You say that Brian finds food and water and also shelter, but do you think that's lucky? It takes effort and time.
He was just super lucky to survive
Super lucky, yeah.
from a plane crash
He's not.
without getting serious hurt.
Well, he was lucky because he was like he flew past the trees and there was a lake. That part was lucky, but finding food and shelter was not. Shelter is obviously not lucky. He has to make it himself.
Protest first speaker said that this book, The Hatchet, teaches us about surviving skills, how to deal with the nature. And well, if you want to learn about surviving skills, why wouldn't you read a survival guide?
This book seems to be a book that puts survival guides with a nice literature together, and it can give you survival skills and interesting facts.
The wild. There's so many poisonous plants that can look like unpoisonous plants.
That has
They're
nothing.
camouflage. But he never reaches a poisonous thing. Okay, the gut cherries causes a stomachache if he eats that much, but it's not venomous. It doesn't really harm him. It's just a stomachache.
On page 111, he was still alone and the self-pity had accomplished nothing. He realizes that self-pity doesn't do anything.
That's a lesson that this book teaches. This book teaches lessons on surviving and lessons on living a good life. If you
Being a
like
optimist.
becoming a better person, just like Brian.
Okay, so you're saying that this book Hatchet teaches how to be confident and to believe in oneself, and it teaches us how to be positive and grateful, right?
Correct.
Yeah. But Hatchet teaches us false hope. So even if you do survive a plane crash without getting serious hurt, there's a very slim chance that you will be able to actually land next to a water source, to be getting food source, to be able to get food and find shelter. And after the tornado, he found the survival plaque. And after the plane crashes, he didn't get serious hurt and he found water.
You guys just kept mentioning lucky.
Yeah, what?
Luck is actually not like just comes like this. You have to work and do things, and you'll get so-called luck. Yeah, there's luck.
So you work and you get luck.
Okay.
Why you guys are always like, oh, he's so lucky.
Lucky's not the main
Nothing
point.
to do
And
with.
also one thing about the self-pity part. You guys keep saying, he says, I'm gonna die, Brian's I'm gonna die. It's already self-pity. He's just preparing himself for what's going to happen.
Okay,
Of course he's panicky, but by
Be an optimist.
knowing that he has a big chance to die, he knows he has preparation in his heart. So when the plane crash actually starts, he knows he has to get out immediately if he wants to live.
Okay, but if he was a optimist and doesn't think so badly, like I'm gonna die, maybe he'll try to do something and he maybe will get out of the situation.
Might not. If here instead he's gonna say, gonna live, he might just be so confident that he will think that he would like, it will become self-deception.
Okay,
Because there was gonna be a big chance he's gonna die.
okay, thinking like that is right, but doing nothing is wrong. And if he's being a true optimist, he will think and do it instead of just thinking and not doing it.
But Brian himself says self-pity didn't do anything to him. That is part of why he changed.
He learned that self-pity won't change him.
Now, as you can see, Hatchet is an important work on literature because of its uniqueness and originality. Also, it teaches you helpful skills on how to survive and how to cope with different stress and situations and emotions. We are confident that after you read this book, it will make you a better person and can make you feel great, be grateful of things you have now. And that is why Hatchet is a really, really important novel. It can teach you a lot of lessons.
So our point is that Hatchet is unoriginal and it's too predictable. And about luck, why we said so much about luck? Because it was unrealistic. There are so many books about that. Just like Teresa said, it has no value. This book is one of so many, a grain in a bowl of rice, a speck of sand in a desert. There are so many books about luck and so many books just like Hatchet, so we think it has no value.
Thank you very much to all participants.